Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hanging Out with Howie. Tonight, we have a distinguished panel here. As always, my wingman and good friend, Brian S. Red, and Mr. Reliable from Lake Placid, Eric Wilson and Good Guy Productions, always there. And my partner in crime, that we will not divulge what they were, Jay Brannon. Journeyman extraordinaire, John C. from Boston, Massachusetts. Welcome, guys. Hey, we're at the end of our summer season, and Eric brought this up. I think it's a good topic. What are we going to do in our downtime? And then in this new way of doing business, we threw a lot of things out there, what worked and what didn't work. So let's go with that. Well, hello, Bill. Welcome. So,
sorry I'm late, boys and girls.
Right on time.
All right. So we're going to go with, let's do the negative thing first. We did try some new things. Eric, what did you try that didn't work?
Oh, wow. What didn't work? Man,
Yeah.
this summer was, I don't know about you guys, but here in Lake Placid, it was slamming. And I mean, it was slamming. We were busy every week. There were people creating ideas. Hey, we want to have an anniversary party. We want to have a birthday party. We had a great summer up here. We definitely do have our seasons. And I think probably you guys do too as well, a little bit. Now we're just going to kind of focus on the college stuff. But it was a good summer and we definitely learned some things. What didn't work though, man. See, I was going to go with the good stuff first.
Geez, this was your idea.
I know it was. I was all positive and optimistic on everything. Overbooking myself didn't work. That was pretty tough. I tell you, there was one day, and this is almost a big mistake on myself. There were so many events booked back to back to back. I always set reminders to myself on days that might be an odd day, like a Tuesday or a Sunday, just in case, just to kind of ring that bell to remind me. And there was one that the bride said, "Can't wait to see you here at 6:00 tonight." And all it was an equipment rental. They had their own DJ fly in from Detroit. And I look at my watch and it's like 5:10. I was like, oh boy, my heart was pumping. Now I had preset everything in the van. It was all ready to go, but it was a Sunday afternoon. I kind of lost track of, I guess, the days and the time because we had 4 events the day before. And that was one of those things where it was almost a heart attack moment. We were ready to go on time, but I think maybe something I learned from there is just maybe every day, just take a look at that calendar just in case when you're busy in the middle of the summer. Just daily look and see, do I have a meeting today that I might have forgotten about? Because, we do work Fridays and Saturdays. So a lot of times I will meet on Sundays. I will have nighttime meetings a lot. And there have been times the doorbell rings and the family goes, "Who's that?" I'm like, "Oh, that's, Brian coming over for a wedding meeting." So maybe, on the negative side of things, something I learned that is really just when you're in the middle of the busy season, don't get relaxed, stay on point. And, maybe set some reminders on the calendar to ring that bell and wake you up and make you stay on target.
All righty. John, what do you think? Doesn't have to be negative, but something that maybe didn't work, you learned something from?
Well, the toughest part of the struggle of the past year was just maintaining the forward thought of the cleanliness factor, of having to keep up with that. You don't realize until you start watching how many people touch how many things, and you're running around like Nunu from the Teletubbies, right? Just little Lysol here, right there. Oh, you just touched the table. Spray that. You don't want to be have too much of a phobia about it, but from leaning on facades to talking to you and putting hands down, you're like, wow, I should really have someone else here with me because I can't keep track of all this and try to maintain it. It's something that you want to be conscious of because you want the presentation. You talked with your client. You said the health concerns are the foremost, but then they touch the mic that's taped to the stand. You have to spray that. Just to keep up with that and to keep that top of mind. was probably the only struggle. I mean, gear wise, we were doing smaller shows. We went out and did a few, not a lot, but
Yeah.
that was the thing I noticed most off was just to keep that in focus and realize that was really the important thing, because it was a breath away from not having those shows. So we really wanted to show the venue that we were being diligent with keeping up with the cleanliness factor and trying to protect all the guests.
Thank you, John. Bill, what can you think is something that didn't work in this new normal, so to speak?
Yeah, it kind of half worked, half didn't. Mine is one we discussed in here before. The foam mic covers. I think it was Brian who brought up the idea of buying the big Yeti ones that just drop on like a cup over top of the mic. And I had already gotten a bunch of just the regular foam mic covers and cut slits in them, but that idea was way better. So I went out and bought a whole bunch of them instead. I had one wedding where there were 9 people giving speeches. Well, one was a blessing. The others were toasts. So basically 9 people speaking. I gave all 9 of them their own individual foam mic cover, and 3 of them remembered their instructions to put the mic cover on, take the mic cover off, walk away. The other 6, one even being the bride and groom, all failed miserably. Another example I did this year, that was for a wedding last year. This year I did a business association conference, an all-day event, and they would have several presenters, and then there'd be Q&A after they did their presentation. And so we agreed that we were going to set up a central microphone on a stand, and in between sessions, I would just go and spray off and sterilize the mic. But we had already instructed everybody in between each session, when you have a question, get up, wait in line, go to the mic in the middle of the room. Even had a little sign that said microphone with an arrow on it. And people would just sit in their seat and ask their question, and the whole thing's being audio recorded. So I'm sitting there not getting the audio. It was miserable. And the people that did go up and use the mic would grab the mic, they'd talk on the mic, they'd leave it on the stand, but they'd still feel the need to grab it and move it around and pull it up to them. It was a total fail.
Actually, that must be human nature, because we saw DJs do that. We saw that at the mobile DJ meetup, and we saw that out in Vegas when we all went out there when they had the Q&A. And now that also happened to Jay in Atlantic City. They put a mic right in the middle. It's all DJs, and they said, come up, because it's being recorded. Come up to the microphone. People are, they're just right from the seat. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Well, then let's go right to Jay. Jay's just shaking his head like, I can't believe that happened to me.
It did. And I think we sometimes, I take that back. I think some DJs, probably not anyone in this room, do occasionally forget their DJs and the proper protocol and etiquette when it comes to those things. I think this is a great question, and I've been really racking my brain. All the things that I'd planned on worked really well, and I'll go into that later. I was more surprised at the things that went wrong. And the things that went wrong were what I had set up for clients that just completely disregarded, kind of like what, Eric was saying. It's, Bill said about the 9 toasters. I went to every one of my clients and I said, hey, I'm going to do this thing. And I got 100%. Yeah, that's cool. Whatever. We don't care. I'm like, no, it's for COVID and the safe. Nah, there's no COVID. Oh, okay. Like, they didn't care. Like, they just didn't give a at all. So, like, I literally didn't do anything this year that I felt there are things I want to change, but I mean, I introduced these awesome lights that Howie, set up for me, and my expensive mic stand. Everything went great. Like, I wouldn't change a thing.
Cool.
Sorry.
Well,
Don't mean to bring the show down, but like things
Bring
went
it
really
up.
well.
that brings us to Brian for some words of wisdom.
I'll tell you what I'll do for you. I'll turn it around for you. I'll turn it around to the positive, what did work. And I'll talk about what didn't work and then what actually worked.
Oh,
The
that's
wedding
the
I-
second. That's the second part.
Right. But what I'm going to do is spin it for you.
Oh, okay.
So I'll
It's a
start with what
transition.
didn't work and the resolve.
Okay. The resolve. Yeah.
So I'll kick it off
Yeah.
for you, being the
it's
last.
like a TV show or something.
Exactly.
I like it. I like it.
There's
He
no
stole
reason
that
to
from the night of
For the
music.
U-turn.
The resolve. Remember, Howie? It's the
Just so you
resolve.
know, just so you know, Eric, you're really hot on your mic.
Oh, am I? That's good.
Yeah, but you're 5 times louder than the rest of it. I got to keep adjusting.
I just want to be heard clearly.
I,
Is that
well,
better? I'm gonna do a
Yeah.
little adjustment. We
you
better?
Oh,
Hey.
yeah, it's perfect.
Okay. I
So-
like perfect.
What?
Now he's too quiet.
Welcome to Hanging with Howie.
We just did a resolve.
So I did this event on Saturday, and I knew this guy. So typically what I'll do, the way I structure things is there's a grand entrance, and there's a cake cutting. After that, they do a prayer, and then they eat. And I try to hold all toasts and speeches until everybody has an entree in front of them. In this case, it was a buffet. And then after everybody has food in front of them, whenever the head table's ready, we'll go ahead and kick off toast speeches and then announce dessert after that. Where I get the curveballs sometimes is when I have those clients who say things like, we don't want people to clink glasses. What we'd like them to do is stand up and sing a song with love in it or something. Well, this time they said, we don't want them to clink glasses, and we want you to announce this early, so they don't do it. What we want them to do is stand up and tell a story about us, and then we'll kiss. Well, there were a couple of problems with this. The first problem was, it was a time thing, right? So people would stand up and want to tell a story, and I say, you want the mic? No, I'm in theater. I project well. So they're screaming their story, and half the room still can't hear. And what it's doing is it's constantly interrupting table conversations. So people are getting kind of frustrated with this. And I found this at my wedding the week before last. It was kind of annoying because the way the coordinator had structured things was their speeches after salad, then their speeches after entree, then their speeches after cake. And you kept them to stop and start and stop and start and stop and start. It's not working well for me because I can't do table rounds because I'm constantly up there facilitating a microphone, bringing volume down, all that crap. It's not working for anybody at the tables because they're constantly being interrupted with their conversation they're trying to have. So that didn't go very well. So after everybody was served, I went ahead and let people talk for a little while because I thought, you know what? They didn't get a chance to do that. About 10 minutes in, I went up to the head table and said something to the maid of honor. I said, look, let's do your speech in about 10 minutes. She said, that sounds good. I'm really nervous. I need at least that much time. No problem. Let's do about 10 minutes. I overheard the bride say, I really wish people would have done more stories. I was kind of disappointed that more people didn't stand up and tell more stories. And it got me thinking, you know what? What if I designated like 10 minutes before the toasts and speeches for stories? And I kicked it off with the microphone. I brought the music down and I kicked it off, opposed to me just watching for someone to walk up to a microphone to keep bringing the volume down kind of thing. If that makes sense to any of you, if you hear me on this. Because I can't do anything else. Like I said, I can't go around to the tables and introduce myself, find out what people want to hear. I'm constantly up there adjusting volumes. I'm working. Dinner is always the hardest part. So I did. I waited about 5 minutes and I got on the microphone. I turned the music down. I said, hey, everybody, if you really want to make Ashley's day, she'd love to hear a story about her and Ben. So would anyone like to tell a story? And a couple of hands went up. And I brought the mic to them. Oh, and I also did this. Before I brought the mic to them, I said, well, can everybody hear me okay? Yeah. All right. Well,
I know where you're going.
yeah, I've talked about this before. It's a good opportunity to do it like this because I'm holding the microphone here. See what happens when I bring the mic over here? Can't hear me anymore, right? Yeah. So we know the microphone works. If you can't hear whoever is telling a story, please tell them to put the microphone closer to their mouth. And sure enough, it worked. So I handed the mic to two different people. I have video of somebody speaking. And then when, we had gone about 10 minutes, I got on the microphone. I told a story of how I met the couple real quick to segue into the maid of honor speech. I introduced her. It wasn't constantly interrupting people that way. I didn't have to get people's attention more than once. I got it one time and it worked well. So there was a problem and I found a resolve for it. And I think I'm going to do a video on that because I think it works. I think it's a good way to handle that. And that could be if they're saying, hey, we want everybody to sing a song about love. Let's designate a time for that instead of just randomly having it happen while there's table conversation because it's disruptive.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway.
I like it. I knew that you were going to bring the mic to them. That would have been my instinct.
And that's how I'm doing the microphone from now on. I'm bringing it to them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stand right by them. Mm-hmm. And when they're done, I'm taking the mic back from them. And I'm going to give them the mic and step back and just, stand there and wait out of the way of pictures and things until they're done. Right. I'll reach out and get the microphone. I think it's the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
All righty. Well, then, things that worked. What worked for me, because we were pretty well shut down, even the big multi-ops were, it was just the owners were working, and they lost a lot of their crew, and just the way things happened. Everybody knows the story. We were locked down until June 1st. And that's right up until the end. People were canceling. And the governor said, we're fully open June 1st. And it was too late. Making calls. And, hey, we can still do that now. And they were like, nah, 2022. So it was one of those things. But what I did shift to was tutoring, the DJing, and that worked out really well for me. However, I think I'll have to make some changes on that. I did not, I'm very trusting and some people didn't, quite pay up. So, that'll be something that I made a mistake that I'll rectify. So what did work then? What did work? John, what worked for you?
What did work with having the downtime and going back out was having the time to look at the system as a whole and be able to break it into 3 different setup of systems depending on the size of the very smaller venues we were playing. Because it used to just be, you bring all the boxes and all the cables and the whole fire alarm bag and what everything you needed was there. But when it got smaller, it's like, well, now I just need this. So I want this organized with this. So the setups and breakdown times got a lot smoother. When you're doing a smaller area, you don't need the whole big gun show. So I found that using that time and being able to still be able to take everything, but then to repack it in a way that it makes sense that the things that go out with each other complement each other. It's not like you just have all par lights and nothing exciting, or you have just moving lights and nothing stationary, because the wrong things were going to the wrong places, or I wouldn't have a wire to make something work, or you wouldn't have the right cord for something. So having it better organized and using the downtime to label everything, to get some different size cases for the things that I want to always have together, just made for smoother setups and much faster breakdowns.
Sounds
So,
good.
that was a
Bill,
plus.
how about you?
For me, a lot of it was just similar to what John was saying, kind of going through all my stuff and cleaning things out, sorting things out. I did something to, that was more for me. I don't think everybody would want to do this, but we've all talked about different ways to store our wires. And some people have said, oh, I have a bag for each element. So the wire bag goes with that tool or what speaker or whatever. I had gone out and picked up a whole bunch of different sized tool bags from like Harbor Freight. I had gotten some from a Sears when they went on clearance. And so I went bag crazy and started creating all sorts of different gear bags for little things. I've got one for Goba lights. I've got one that's just for video production stuff. I've got one for extra audio production needs, and it's even got a couple of little 8-inch tabletop mic stands in it now. Just pretty much, I've got a bag for everything, just about, almost.
Oh, good. Now, Eric, I'm sensing that you're going to say something. Go ahead. What worked for you?
Something absurd, preposterous, or
no? I was thinking, when you were panicky a little bit, something really hit the jackpot for you.
Well, just like I said, paying attention a little bit, setting alarms and things like that. That doesn't happen very often. I think we might even have talked about this, a couple months ago, maybe just in the chill room and discussed it. How it was funny. I was doing an event and I am interviewing a tarot reader to do for an event for me. And the guy says, oh, I feel you have a good heart, but have you ever had a heart attack? I said, no, what are you talking about? He goes, I just sensed some kind of heart trouble in your future. Well, damn it, if it 2 weeks later, he didn't know what he was saying at the time, but it happened. So, I'm going to mimic kind of what John and Bill did say. Organization was definitely something we worked upon. Like Bill said, I've got a bag for this, bag for this, bag for this. I buy road cases, and everything is organized. I have lists of everything on my wall, checklists. And, that certainly helps because time is money. And if I can save time, that's going to save me money. And I'll tell you what I did is I gave all my guys raises this year, and they're happier. I was able to save money, and I became a little bit of a better salesman this year. It was kind of a twofold thing that people wanted to have great parties. So when I suggested, hey, let's do some first stand sparks, that's a great idea. Hey, let's do some uplighting. That's a fantastic idea. I became a little more suggestive and not so tentative and apprehensive to ask for money. And so that translated into me making more, which also helped the guys make more. And that was, anytime I can pay my guys better, my guys work their butts off, man. And they've provided me with a pretty good living and a pretty good way of life. And if I can help them by giving them more money, that makes me feel very good. And so that's something that worked out well for me, I guess. And to, summarize that, I became a better, more confident salesperson in what we have to offer for people.
You got a good crew over there, by the way.
Yeah, you do.
You got a good
Great crew. Yeah.
I'm very, very fortunate.
You are.
Yeah. So Jay, what worked for you?
I kind of redid the business this year. I got a new car for the business. I got new speakers for the business. I got new mics for the business, new mic stand, added lighting. Everything, I changed everything enough that I just had to, because I was busy. I had to work smarter, not harder. So, something as simple as, instead of taking 4, I used to carry 6 bags with me to every gig. And I would really only need 1, but I carried 6. So this year I decided early to get brand new bags and then set up all the cables for the main system and then the ceremony dinner system. And when I ended at the end of the night, I took out a brand new bag that had never been used and put all the cables, put all the cables in that bag. So then moving forward, that bag was designated main system, so that now I only had 1 bag. I bought a hard shell case for my 2 new mics. The foam is all trash now. I have to get another one. But I tried to be more in the moment organized so I wouldn't have to work as hard. And the biggest thing, believe it or not, I've always placed things in my van or truck or vehicle horizontally. So I'd put things in folding that way. And this year, for the first time, I realized that if I put my Evolve 50s at each back door of my Jeep, facing out in the zip bags, and then placed everything vertically, I could fit so much more stuff. I mean, you're talking 20 years plus of just loading things sideways. And then suddenly the voice said, why don't you try putting it in vertically? And I did. And all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I have an X stand, 2 speaker stands, 2 bags, SRT, 1000 SRT, the 2 Evolve tops, the XDJ XZ, the lights, another speaker, more bags, like everything fit perfectly. I was like, why did it take me this long to figure this out? So I think it was a lot of little tweaks along the way. But, you know, knock on wood, the events went great. I have 4 more weddings this year, and then December is just a sleepy month. But I'm blessed and grateful. It's been an amazing year. So everything's gone really well. The new lights. One photographer told me to turn off my Howie spotlights going over the bride. She said, can you turn those off? I'm like,
Really?
sure. Yeah, she didn't like them. I don't know what her problem was the other night, but I was like, sorry. She goes, yeah, they're in my way. I'm like, oh, you're the first one to say that.
Yeah.
How long have you used them? I'm like, I don't know, 20 weddings. Well, maybe the photographers don't get it. I was like, okay, I'm not going to win this fight.
Yep.
By the way, spandex pants like that went out like 10 years ago, but it's a nice try. I might consider losing 30 or 40 pounds before I wore them like that, but I'm just saying.
But that's just me, right? Yeah.
That's just me. I don't know if they look as good in a 14 as they do in a 4. But I don't want to be that guy. I'm going to get letters again.
Yeah, I know. We're all going to get letters. Brian, save us.
Did Bill go?
Yeah.
You went? Okay. I just don't want to take anybody's turn because I know he always goes to me last. It's dumb things like Jay said, and and even you mentioned, Bill, with just trying to consolidate a little bit. I started being disabled, it's a little tough for me to wind cables. In fact, when I first started gigging alone after this thing happened to me, I was using all self-winding cables, but that's heavy and I'm better than that now. So I've been using regular cables, but it kind of becomes a bit of a spaghetti incident. So I recently, within the last month, added Velcro to some of my cables, and it's really saved me time trying to untangle stuff. And something else that I did that I technically did it last year, but I didn't gig that much to really realize how wonderful it was going with a smaller speaker. Weddings are smaller, crowds are smaller, don't need this big speaker anymore. So Evolve 30s, weight-wise, setup-wise, load in my truck-wise, very effective, not too much, not too little. And I'm very happy with those. Those are the things that really made a difference.
And it's still a nice looking setup. I mean, in pictures, I can't tell the difference between the 30s and the 50s.
No, you can't. And and that's a good point. The footprint really hasn't changed. The only thing I've done different other than that recently was I added the powder coated black pro vent table. Just to have a fresh table. I'd been throwing that pro vent table 2 around, like a redheaded stepchild for quite a while, and it gets a little bent up after time. So it works still, but it's a little bit of a struggle one-handed to get everything to line up and come together, where that new MB is just like, this is butter. This is nothing. So, but otherwise everything kind of looks, pretty much as it always has, with little changes. But very happy with just the little changes that just put enough little changes in place that makes a difference. It takes 2 or 3 and it just saves you a lot of time and agony.
Mhm. Yeah, I think the common thread here seems to be that work smarter, not harder,
Yeah.
smaller footprint, a place for everything in its place. So, hey, what's everybody going to do for our downtime? What are you going to be doing, John?
I've started on this quest of going back through the Billboard history. I started from 2020 and I'm doing the year end, all 100 songs and marking them in the genre tag so I don't have to move the folders they're in. So I can just pull them up with a couple of keystrokes. And I'm currently in 1977 working my way backwards. So I've traveled some 30 years back in time.
Nice.
But, get to hear some songs you haven't heard in a long time and dust some off and say, wow, this would be good to throw in. So getting the music organized and then, of course, copying multiple onto the hard drives and doing the backups because I haven't done that in about 6 months. I'm behind on that.
6 months.
Get
Wow.
6 months.
How about you, Bill?
Well, Mike Walter said in a thing a while back, coming out of COVID, if you haven't done the things on your to-do list during the COVID shutdown by now, you're probably not going to.
Right. That's true.
I fully intended to go through my CD cases and rip all my CDs during the COVID shutdown. I did like 20. So if, and I'm kind of hoping I don't have a lot of downtime, but if I do, I hope to get all of my CDs ripped before April.
Oh, awesome. Well, Eric, I don't think you're going to have too much downtime, are you?
Well, we do have definite seasons here, in Lake Placid, the sports, they're going to be coming up within a month or so when we start having the big events. On Christmas Day, we've got to set up a video wall for the ski jumping qualifiers for the Olympics, Nordic combined as well. So, we've got a little bit of time off until we hit the New Year's, Christmas time era. And we have another bit of downtime, but there's still little events, college events interspersed. But one thing that I really, really, really enjoyed during this whole year and a half that we were kind of shut down is getting rid of my old gear. Man, I sold so much stuff. People even ask me, like, are you going out of business? I'm like, no, this is stuff that's been sitting around in shelves in the back of that box truck. I sold speakers. I sold amps. I sold lighting. I sold all kinds of stuff. All my speak-on cables gone. I don't use them anymore. And just getting rid of the stuff and cleaning up, making more room for new stuff because I happen to be a gear junkie. We just bought an illuminated ADJ dance floor last week. That's taking up more rack space in the shop. So got to sell more stuff. And it feels good. Other people are getting some good quality gear as well. So helping them out and making space for me and just getting rid of stuff that I wanted to get rid of for so long. So that's my downtime project again.
Cool. Well, Jay, you said you're going to be have a little time. What are you going to do with it there after December?
Yeah, right now I think I have 2 gigs in December. January was supposed to be NAMM and NAMM prep, which means I would start on January 3rd or 4th. So I'm busy usually all of January. And there was talk of doing CES again, which is still going. So January, believe it or not, January, February are usually very busy months. This January I have 0. So, I think like John, I've really got to clean up my hard drives. And I still have music that I haven't kind of put together. So I might expand from a 1 to a 2 terabyte drive that I carry with me because I just have too much music. But, it's going through and taking music I haven't played in forever off the first one. And then I think I'm really going to try to focus on doing more Twitch and try to really, capitalize on there's an audience to hear music out there and try to do something with that and work on the website. I don't see a lot of other options out there. I like Eric's idea. Just dawned on me. I've got a bunch of old gear I could get rid of. S1000 that's just collecting dust, and I'm sure somebody would use it and be happy with it.
You list that, it'll be gone in 24 hours with the equipment shortage right now.
Well, you know what? It's funny you say that, John. That's what I was just thinking too. At the same time, like, wait a second. Now is exactly when you want to be selling gear because everyone's looking and they can't get it. I know that firsthand. Like, there's no new gear coming in from manufacturers. I mean, till late 2021, early to mid 2022.
Yeah, I'm like Bill with the the CD thing. I've been planning to sell off the gear that's been sitting for years. I mean, PA systems, everything, and I haven't done anything with it yet.
Yeah.
Now
Brian, I know you're going to be busy even if you're not gigging. So
I actually just took a consulting job. I am going to be working with a company that builds tour rigs for companies to do promotion at things like festivals and such. There's one I'm working on right now. It's actually for the cigar people, Swisher Sweets, which I just said without tongue-tying myself, which I normally do. They're putting together a karaoke rig for a tour, and I just put the purchase order in today.
Congrats.
And I may be in St. Louis next week, actually, just being tech on it. So I'll put it together, and then I'll just kind of stand there. And if anything just doesn't work, I'll step in and say, "Here, twist this knob," and there you go.
It's a mobile karaoke rig, is what's not going to work. What the?
Hey, man,
sing.
I'm in as a technical consultant, not as a marketing
take the money
consultant.
and run.
Not his talent.
So,
No. Can I get more talent in the monitor? No.
No, it's cool. It's this guy I went to school with, and he reached out to me about consulting on this. Is something that the client wants, and I've turned them on to so many different things already. They like my ideas, and I get this feeling this will be a reoccurring thing. I think this will be
that would be cool.
I don't know why I get the feeling, but I really do think that this isn't the last time they're going to use me on this stuff. I think I'll be kind of the fifth Beatle, going in there and taking care of business when it needs to be taken care of, and going around and teching and things when it needs to be done around the country at different festivals and such, depending on the rig that's getting put together, which, really is right up my alley. I've got relationships with the retailers, and I know my gear pretty well. I can make things happen based on what their needs and wants are, and kind of who's going to be operating it and such. So, yeah, that's kind of a new venture for me that's kicking off this week.
I like that.
And I just did. By the way,
when you first talked about it, I thought, this could be another little side thing.
I figured it was a one-off. I thought it was just this one thing the guy was.
Why? But why? Why not? I mean, he's good at it.
Yeah. And they need this kind of stuff.
The guy was only doing this one thing. I didn't realize it was like other clients were jumping in the mix.
Well,
they do a lot of
the only cigar maker. I mean, come on.
They do a lot of work for people who specifically do music festivals. And we were talking a little bit, and they were mentioning these, I don't know, I won't say the brand name of speakers they were using and how they were powered and all this. And I said, those are okay, but have you seen the column arrays? And we don't know what you're talking about. So I actually brought some into the conference room. I had two different ones in my truck, just happened to have them, and they were blown away. Like, you just whatever you say, we're just going to buy whatever you say, because this is the way to go. You can't be good at everything. You can't be an expert on everything. And it's nice to come in and be the one who would specialize with this stuff when these types of clients come up. Because like I said, they do a lot of music festivals. Clients who do, specifically go to music festivals. So their needs are going to change. Their wants are going to change. It's going to be a different client all the time. So this could be a real, I don't know, and maybe not, maybe I don't hear from him again. Maybe I do it once a year, maybe, but I think this is going to be a thing that, and the guy and I get along really well. Like I said, I went to school with them, and apparently he liked me in school and still does. So we're in good shape there. So I didn't have to go in, and they didn't have to get to know me and all that crap. It was like, yeah, it's Brian. Yeah, whatever Brian says, Brian's good at this. Follows me on social media, just, as a friend kind of thing. So it's nice. It's a cool little, side gig to have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that my little side gig takes off, because I'm thinking, hey, DJs are going to be, typically off right after the first of the year. I'll make my usual phone calls to book my summer stuff. which is been postponed. But yeah, I'm hoping that I can do some tutoring because that's downtime, and especially for solo ops, that want to improve their light show. Maybe I have something there.
Funny enough, Howie, I was just thinking about this after putting the purchase order in today. I'm thinking to myself, there's going to be a client who wants lighting. Yeah. Can I do it? Yeah. But it would be really cool if I said, I got a guy. That we could fly in to do this design. And this is all about networking with other DJs and everybody, utilizing their talents, to get what we're worth, I guess, go in and do work in places we're really appreciated and people, value our talents. And I thought of you, Howie. I thought of you with lighting design.
Well, I am kind of meticulous when it comes to logistics and planning. So
I know you are, but I could just see you flying in here, crash in here,
Farina.
Oh, no, I got new tires on the truck, dude. I'll drive out.
There
Mike
you go.
Farina could do it. What about Mike Farino? Mike Farino is totally good with all that stuff too. I would call Mike.
Don't call Howie. I wouldn't call him.
No, Mike Farino knows everything. I'd call Mike Farino.
I don't even know who Mike Farino is.
Fernino.
He's the guy that stepped on.
Yeah,
he's the one that stepped on my DMX bridge and disconnected it.
That guy.
When the lights went all crazy, and we went,
"Oh, right.
What are you doing back here?"
I think he's the head of the new DJ show in February.
No, but I mean, we've got such a great network of people. When opportunities like this pop up, it's so cool to be able to know that I know people who can do things. If it's a big convoluted thing and it's a production thing, maybe Eric's the guy I'm calling up and saying, "Dude, I need your help on this. You got some time?" And bring in some of my friends for talents if they're really looking to do something more on the big marquee club DJ thing. Jay's the guy I'm going to call because he's got all the fingers in that. I mean, we've got a network of people and we can't all be experts on everything, but it's nice when we can have relationships and we can rely on each other to come together and make great things happen.
Well, look, if you get regional too, they go to Boston. You can call John to do something.
Oh, I got somebody everywhere. Yeah, if there's a music festival in Boston, I got John.
You got guys around the country that you can trust could step up and be like, "Hey, you don't really have to do much, but I need somebody there that can at least tech this setup, and this is what it is." Oh, yeah, I'll take care of it, Brian. Thanks.
Right. We're really in trouble. We've got this big production we're doing in Lake Placid, and we don't know what we're going to do. It's like,
I'd leave Lake Placid to start with. That place has been down.
I know a guy.
Olympics in 1980. I mean,
I know a guy.
It's upstate New York, dude. It's freezing.
Right now, it was 29 last night. We're still rolling, man. We've got
29,
which is the second largest sports festival in the world. That's coming in 2023.
Wow.
Yep.
So I guess we are going to be here again for will this be our 3rd February coming up?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Because this happened right after May when we started this.
2022.
Holy Christ.
Oh, okay. So our 2nd February. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, no, because February 2020, February 2021, February 2022. I call it our 3rd February.
Yeah.
2nd anniversary, 3rd February.
2nd anniversary, but 3rd February.
It was right after.
We should have an anniversary party in here then. Yeah, man.
How about we get together and do a party?
What's the difference between a night in here and an anniversary party, though? I'm just thinking, we'll drink. Oh, okay.
How you'll send everybody a care package and you'll open it up and you'll have beef sticks in there and Chex Mix and
I still can't find those beef sticks anywhere. I'll have to come out and just load up. That's what I'll have to do.
You should.
All right. Well, hey, thanks everybody for helping out tonight as usual. This is just, I don't know, great networking group here. And it's not like any other group, like on social media. I mean, it's no trolls in here. Everybody just sharing and it's been a great night. Thank you all so much, and we will see you next week. Take care.